Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. 3 fire clocks burned the space about into stream particles. They revolved and formed a huge fireball which rushed towards Luo Feng, even controlling the space around and forcing Luo Feng into a corner, making it difficult for him to even move. The incredibly hot fireball rushed over. Humph, controlling space. Luo Feng flapped his wings and the wings easily tore through the suppressed space, unleashing strike travel. He left behind 3 visible warps, making the fire clocks hit nothing but the wall, causing the engravings to once again shine and leave the walls undamaged again. What terrifying speed! Purple Clock's eyes were filled with shock and rage. Even though he knew that this human was proficient in speed, to dodge in such a confined space left him baffled. A spirit weapon attack was actually dodged. Of course, the combined attack of his 3 fire clocks became much slower together. However, at such close distance, even normal emperors wouldn't have been able to dodge at all. Purple Clock, don't waste time. Gold Kang roared within. Bastard, leaving me the troublesome one to deal with. He cursed within, after which his eyes gleamed as he looked at Luo Feng, roaring, "Human, go and die." Howl. Purple Clock raged as terrifying undying energy erupted from within his body, causing Gold Kang and Night Emperor to change their expressions. Burning his undying body. Good. Ice Blade's eyes gleamed as he engaged Piercing Tiger. Ha ha. Gold Kang couldn't help but laugh. Burning his undying body. Yang is going to be in trouble. Piercing Tiger was shocked. Yang, be careful. It wasn't just them who noticed what happened. In the core of the control room, the group of indigenous warriors held their breaths and watched as well. They then muttered, "Die, die, hurry and die." In their eyes, these invaders were better off killing each other. Within the treasure room, Purple Clock burned his undying body, and his energy grew even stronger than Gold Kang's. Break. He looked coldly at Luo Feng, putting part of his burning undying energy into the 3 fire clocks, making them form 3 fireballs. Even though they seemed like normal fireballs, every one of them was much more terrifying than a star. They could easily pierce through a star like an iron needle through tofu. Luo Feng could currently treat stars as playthings. However, against these 3 fireballs, he could only rely on his wings and the general armor to defend him. They were lightning fast, forming together and attacking. Luo Feng knew. I cannot dodge, I can only defend. As the 3 clocks had to revolve to form 1 fireball before, it was much slower. This time, they rushed together. And infused with burning undying energy, their power was over 1,000 times stronger. How fast was it? Luo Feng could only hide behind his wings and cover himself. Rumble. 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 The first clock hit Luo Feng's wings and knocked him back into the wall. The terrifying force caused the entire room to shake. The engravings madly shining as the tower began to shake. It was using its entire construct to defuse the attack. The second clock hit. And then the third clock. Luo Feng was pinned against the wall. Rumble. Space around the room instantly crumbled into stream particles. Amidst the mad explosions, the engravings shined madly, trying to defuse the attack. Gradually, the space recovered and peace followed. This? Ice Blade stared wide-eyed, his ugly face was warped. W.A. Piercing Tiger opened his mouth wide. Night Emperor couldn't even speak, his eyes filled with surprise and joy. How can this be? Gold Kang stopped his attack against Night and stared at the scene. I. Purple Clock's expression was complex, shocked and in disbelief. Against the wall of the room, Luo Feng gradually slid down and stood back up, smiling at Purple Clock before him. I actually didn't destroy him. I burned 3% of my body and he didn't explode. He was stunned. Burning the undying body was akin to burning one's soul. If he burned 50% of his undying body, that would mean losing half his soul, and his strength wouldn't even be 10% of what it was before. And burning too much would cause one to lose too much of his soul, and would be unable to maintain a complete consciousness, falling into slumber. A god's slumber, he would gradually recover his soul in that state. This process took an extremely long time, past trillions of years, or maybe never even waking up. Hence normally, they would only burn 5% of their bodies. Recovering this much wasn't too hard. Imbuing the attack with that much energy, like how he did with his 3 fire clocks, 3% of his undying energy was enough, unless one truly simply decided to self-destruct. Self-destruction had an absolute power and superior advantage, and it would reduce their enemies to nothing. Purple Clock thought. Burning 3% of his undying body would at least destroy 10 to 20% of his opponent's undying body. That was normal. However, Luo Feng's wings weren't even scratched. Good. Piercing Tiger roared excitedly. Yang, your survival ability sure is incredibly. Do you have a Pinnacle Emperor plant protecting you? Or Pinnacle Emperor metal life form? Knight communicated surprised, as those were the highest probabilities. The plant and metal life forms naturally have advantages in their physical states. If one had a Pinnacle plant life form, its body will far exceed an Emperor Pinnacle human. Also, its regenerative abilities could definitely withstand that attack. Ha ha. Luo Feng laughed. Knight and Piercing Tiger didn't ask more. Who didn't have their own trump cards? Yang's trump cards were probably related to survival and fleeing, only it was at a simply absurd level. Ha ha, the treasure is ours. Knight Emperor communicated excitedly. Hurry and escape from the room, we will escape later on. After we get out, we will teleport and distribute the treasure. Right, let's go. Piercing Tiger said too. The battle scene had changed. Before, Gold Kang, Purple Clock and Ice Blade had the advantage. They had planned for Purple Clock to destroy Luo Feng's body. Once it was destroyed, his weapons and world ring and so on will be thrown around. Naturally they could take the chance to get the world ring at that time. The world ring was after all just a storage world. They would have their own ways to get the treasure within. However now, Gold Kang, I cannot deal with him. Purple Clock communicated. Gold Kang, what do we do? Ice Blade said nervously. I didn't expect this little human, who seemed the weakest, to have such a move. He definitely has treasures that aren't proficient in attack, or some metal, or plant life form. Gold Kang's eyes raged. Purple Clock, Ice Blade, you two are useless, completely useless. I'll have to go all out now. The two seemed enraged. When we get the treasure, I get 70%. Purple Clock you get 20% and Ice Blade you only get 10%. Gold Kang communicated. Otherwise I lose too much. Okay. No problem. Ice Blade and Purple Clock weren't stupid. They knew that with Yang's defense, only Gold Kang could actually destroy his body while burning his undying body. The cost of this Emperor limit burning his undying body, just how high was that? Getting 70% was indeed natural. Then watch me. Gold Kang's eyes gleamed with lightning flashing within. It may seem slow, but in truth after Purple Clock's attack against Luo Feng failed, only a few seconds had passed before Gold Kang went all out. YA. Green light began to shine from Gold Kang's entire body. Rumble. Terrifying energy filled the room. It shook the walls and the engravings flashed. This scene made Luo Feng, Knight, Ice Blade and the others all shocked. Not good, Gold Kang is going all out. He's burning his undying body. Flee. Everybody, including Luo Feng, was shocked. Gold Kang was an Emperor limit warrior. With his body amplification technique, he could unleash up to 1,000,000 Sector Lord's strength. If he self-destructed, it would be even more terrifying than Luo Feng's 1,000,000 King Bug Army combined attack. Even if it was only burning a small part of his undying body, it was incredibly terrifying. However, once one reaches his level, the cost of burning any bit of the undying body was huge. Unless one was forced into a corner, they would never do so. Flee. 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 Luo Feng and the others panicked, as no one dared to take on Gold Kang in this state. Howl! Gold Kang let out a roar, easily reaching the closest Night Emperor beside. So fast. Night couldn't even dodge. Rumble! A lightning-infused large palm smacked Night Emperor's head. With a rumble, Night Emperor was immediately reduced to ashes. The winged human Night Emperor, who was reduced to ashes, had incredibly weak amount of energy left. The scene made Luo Feng, who was about to flee the room, shocked. From his energy level, Gold Kang had actually instantly made Night Emperor lose half his undying body. 50%. Losing half his soul made it so that Night Emperor could only unleash 10% of his strength from before. The soul was very important. Gold Kang, don't force me. Night Emperor's eyes were filled with madness as he reformed, staring hard at Gold Kang. Gold Kang was incredibly intrepid now. Even if Night Emperor burned his undying body, he still couldn't escape. He could only hope for Gold Kang to spare him. If forced, I'll. Night stared at Gold Kang. Self-destruct. Ha ha, do you think that if you do so, I'll be afraid? My undying body won't be hurt even a little from it. Ha ha, I've already destroyed half of your undying body, and destroying the other half will kill you. So, why should I let you off? Just die. Gold Kang didn't show any mercy. Remember, I will return to take revenge. Night Emperor roared. Explode. 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 Night Emperor howled. Self-destructing with only 50% of his undying body left, that was the result of Gold Kang's undying energy destroying Night Emperor's other half. Hence his explosion wouldn't be too huge. At this time, Gold Kang could take the blow alone, but who would be that stupid? Gold Kang chose to retreat. Rumble, a Pinnacle Emperor's self-destruct, it was so powerful it made everyone else, such as Purple Clock, Ice Blade, Piercing Tiger, and Luo Feng shocked. Pinnacle Emperor self-destruct was akin to a million sector Lord King bugs attacking together. This was able to kill a High Emperor, heavily injure a Pinnacle Emperor, or even cause the Pinnacle Emperor to fall because of it, but of course that required luck. Even though Night Emperor only had 50% of his undying body left, it was still half of a Pinnacle Emperor's explosion. Unlike Gold Kang's attack that destroyed him, this was an explosion that rippled in all directions. There was no way to control the direction of attack. Self-destructing meant the death of a god, his energy would ripple in all directions. No. Ice Blade, who was engaged with Piercing Tiger, changed his expression. Gold Kang, you caused this. Ice Blade fled in fear. Rumble. The powerful force instantly acted on his body. The High Emperor Ice Blade was instantly reduced to ashes, and his ashes were further destroyed. Night Emperor, you are dragging me along with you. Piercing Tiger rushed into the room in shock. Rumble. The force rushed over Piercing Tiger like a torrent of water. His armor gleamed before his entire body exploded, after which he reformed. Rumble. The force rippled through Purple Clock's body. He gritted his teeth and a membrane flashed throughout his body, withstanding the attack for a while before his body became powder too, after which he reformed back. Rumble. Luo Feng wrapped himself in his wings and withstood the attack. Gold Kang, Purple Clock, Ice Blade, Piercing Tiger, and Luo Feng all withstood the force of Night Emperor's explosion. Some were undamaged, some hurt while one fell. Not just the 5 of them. Even the sacrificial tower wasn't as stable as before against the force of a Pinnacle Emperor's explosion. The walls within the pathway and room glowed madly from the force before breaking apart and crumbling as the ripples spread about. Every wall gleamed for a while before falling apart, however with each layer of wall it broke through, the power slowly diminished too. With a diameter of 60 kilometers, a circular crater was formed as everything was reduced to nothing. The tower itself was made of F-grade metals. This was a special weapon, and just like how many weapons could become big or small, this tower could do so as well. However, it was closer to a god base or star fortress level of weapon, but its internal defense wasn't the same throughout. The inheritance room and second treasure room, these 2 important rooms had higher defenses. The walls outside the core region were incredibly strong as well. Although there were many walls within, they were weaker. Even with the help of the mysterious engravings, Night Emperor's explosion still destroyed an area of 60 kilometers in diameter. Silence. Within the tower, there was silence. Luo Feng and Piercing Tiger exchanged glances, communicating. Night Emperor actually made me lose 6% of my undying body, what a waste. Piercing Tiger communicated, however Yang, we are in trouble. Night Emperor's death is a big loss to our strength. Even though they've lost Ice Blade too, he was only a High Emperor. There is not much of an effect on the remaining two. What a pity for Night Emperor. Luo Feng replied. What's there to pity, isn't he a human? You humans value each and every emperor. Even if they fall, they will be revived after reversing space and time in the future. Piercing Tiger said. It's a pity that I don't have that kind of luck. Even though I am a member of the Hong Alliance too, for me to get that kind of chance, I have to earn more contribution points to raise my position. Luo Feng was shocked. A universe master had unbelievable power, and they could reverse time and space to a point before the target hadn't died, reviving a warrior. Humanity had several beings that could do so, like the founder of the Huge Axe Dojo, the Primal Chaos City leader, Long Yang Master, Void Gold Master. They would, in a certain point in time, revive a large amount of warriors together. Those revived were either very strong, or had great contributions, or were disciples of important people, etc. However, it did have its price. The Universe Masters paid very little for reviving someone like Night Emperor. However, the small price was only to beings like them. They couldn't possibly swallow the costs. These had to be returned eventually by the warriors who were revived. They either had to fight for humanity, or get treasures to give to humanity. Poor Night Emperor. Even if he is revived, he'll have to fight for humanity for a very long time. Luo Feng thought. However, it's already lucky that he has such a chance. As for the other races, some races didn't even have a being like a universe master. Even if they joined the Hong Alliance, the requirement just to be considered for revival far exceeded that of the humans. No one wanted to fall. The stronger one got, the higher the price of revival would be. The Primal Chaos City leader had said himself that reviving a knight would make him receive a backlash from the universe laws that could damage even him. If he revived a being like Shiluo Duo, or the Tianxia Palace leader, he may even fall from the backlash. One had to know that the city leader's power far exceeded Shiluo Duo and the others. But he could fall from reviving them. It was clear that the backlash was terrifying. Night Emperor would be revived sometime in the future. The price he would have to pay could only be imagined. Gold Kang, that Night Emperor was about to flee, why did you force him? Purple Clock was enraged. Even Ice Blade has fallen. Ice Blade was from the Kang race too. Even as a fellow clansman, Purple Clock didn't respect him too much. But they had explored together and were of the same race, hence they trusted each other. I got hurt from his explosion too. Purple Clock raged. And humanity is one of the 4 pinnacle races. Some universe master being will eventually revive him. Shut up. Gold Kang cursed, that will take countless years to happen. Even if he is revived, he still won't be my match. I only know that I can get his wealth from killing him. With a wave of his hand, he kept the world rings and items from Night Emperor and Ice Blade. Don't let the other humans escape. Gold Kang roared. Luo Feng flapped his wings in the distance and unleashed strike travel, swiftly accelerating and disappearing down the pathway. You can't escape. Gold Kang chased behind. Humph. Purple Clock chased behind too. Piercing Tiger stood amidst the waste and watched the scene, smiling coldly. Everybody is going mad for this treasure. They are burning their undying bodies or falling. That Gold Kang's strength is something I should avoid. Even if I attack him, I will die. He flew down another pathway swiftly. Within the control room, the Elder Chiu Kai Ka, the Godmaster Puri, Men Bu, La Di Mo, the 4 indigenous warriors stared at the projection. When they saw Night Emperor's explosion damaging the other warriors and killing Ice Blade, they all revealed a look of happiness and shock. Look, the talisman. That's the talisman. Night and Ice Blade's death made the originally melded into their bodies' talismans fall to the ground. Go, hurry and go. You invaders, leave the talismans. The elder hoped. But no one would have expected Gold Kang to wave his hand and keep all the items that fell from their deaths. This made Chiao Kai Ka and the others change their expressions. They are heading out of the tower. But the talismans are still with them. The Godmaster Puri said urgently. Third brother, the moment they leave and teleport, we will never be able to open the inheritance room. The elder gritted his teeth and roared, listen to my order. Puri, Men Bu and La Di Mo's eyes gleamed, listening to the order from their elder, they knew that it was time to move. When Chiao Kai Ka and the other indigenous warriors began to move, Luo Feng, Gold Kang and Purple Clock were in a frantic state. Flee, flee, flee. Luo Feng flapped his wings, warping like a demon through the pathways. This Gold Kang is too strong. This is an Emperor limit strength, which far exceeds a pinnacle Emperor's strength. Even Knight's self-destruction did no damage to him. Luo Feng was panicking within. Even my combined attack from my bug army cannot harm him. If I fight it out with him, he may burn some undying energy and kill my earth body. The moment the earth body falls, that would be troublesome. The pathways are too narrow, the golden horned beast cannot fight here at all. The beast was much stronger than the human body, however the tower wasn't suitable for it. Human, don't flee, just give up. Gold Kang howled and chased behind. Rumble. Rumble. From time to time, bolts of lightning burst out of his eyes. These lightning bolts naturally exceeded Luo Feng's speed, instantly forming countless lightning snakes that acted as a net, bound by countless strings. It greatly affected Luo Feng's speed. Right after breaking free, the second net had already reached. Lightning bolts connected and formed a net over and over. It made it extremely hard for Luo Feng. If it weren't for this pathway, I would have long gotten far away, and his lightning wouldn't even be able to touch me. Luo Feng flapped his wings and fled. You can really run. Gold Kang shouted from behind. He slowed down Luo Feng over and over, yet he could only shorten their distance a little at a time. This made him feel disappointed with himself. The two of them continued as Purple Clock chased from behind too. Gold Kang sure is brutal, using Night Emperor to kill Ice Blade. Purple Clock's eyes gleamed coldly. We are all from the automaton camp, and we cannot kill each other. The moment we do so it would be broadcasted in the virtual world, and we will be hunted down from the camp, unable to escape. Hence, he wouldn't dare attack personally, but he still wants to get the treasure for himself. Now that Ice Blade is gone, in truth he used someone else to kill him. Purple Clock cursed. HMPH, no matter, he simply used someone else, he wouldn't dare attack his own camp ally. And I'm not Ice Blade. Even if Piercing Tiger self-destructs, I won't fall. Gold Kang, you want the treasure all to yourself. HMPH. Many ideas flashed within his mind. Being from the same camp didn't mean they were on good terms. Because of the rules, they didn't kill each other. Going against the rules, not only would the automaton race send powerful warriors, even Gold Kang's own clansmen would send their own. Luo Feng, Gold Kang and Purple Clock flew along the pathways, with ideas of their own. Ahead is the core area exit. Luo Feng fled with all his strength. With a flash, he arrived before the exit. The 6 pathways remained activated, however what stunned Luo Feng was that a purple armored 6-armed undying floated before the exit. He gave off god energy ripples and blocked off the exits. Yang Ji indigenous race. Luo Feng was shocked at his appearance, but he couldn't care less at this moment. Make way. He roared and was about to rush forward. Huala. The 6-armed undying's arms grew thicker and thicker. It blocked off the 6 pathways as Luo Feng rushed towards one. Each arm was incredibly powerful. After growing in size, it slapped and knocked back Luo Feng. Ha ha, Yang Ji indigenous resident. I must thank you. Gold Kang caught up and communicated. Purple Clock appeared too. Luo Feng, Gold Kang and Purple Clock stood there. That Yang Ji warrior blocked up all 6 pathways, and he was at pinnacle emperor strength. Luo Feng may have the advantage in speed, but to forcefully break through, the strength difference was too much. Yang, who is this? A beam of light flew over. It was Piercing Tiger, who flew from another pathway. After landing he was shocked too, indigenous. The group all exchanged glances, after which they looked at the warrior. This indigenous punk, after escaping back then, he actually dares show himself. Gold Kang roared. The warriors there all knew that they could easily report to their camps about any spotting of these warriors, however there was no forced regulation about reporting or killing them. These had never been a responsibility for the warriors. And the warriors didn't want to draw attention to the treasure in the tower either. Attention other race enemies. The warrior floating there seemed a little chubby, and his smile was terrifying. I really wish for you to die, but since you were all about to leave the tower, I had to show myself. Let me introduce myself. I am the survivor of the Yang Ji race Chiokai Ka. Back then, I was a normal undying when my race faced extinction. However, countless years have passed and I've been incredibly lonely, but I also grew in strength. You've been here all this while. Gold Kang, Purple Clock, Piercing Tiger, and Luo Feng were shocked. Right, I've been in here observing your every move. Chiokai Ka smiled. His smile however was peculiar and terrifying. I had planned initially, for you to kill each other more. Those of you belonging to other races, you destroyed my race back then. Hence, it's better for you all to die. But I really need the talismans. I didn't expect you to actually keep both the fallen warriors. Chiokai Ka pointed at Gold Kang. Gold Kang frowned. This warrior actually knew that he had kept the talismans. Looks like he truly had been observing the entire tower. Why do you need the talismans? He roared. You said, your plan. Luo Feng frowned, that treasure room. The others were shocked when they heard. Smart. Chiokai Ka complimented. There's at least one smart fellow amongst you all, ha ha. I've been here all this while, and that room had always been open. If there were any treasure, it would have been long gone. Those 3 treasure chests are empty chests. Since you are all unable to scan them, I used them to bait you all into killing each other. What? Empty chests. Night Emperor and Ice Blade fell for empty chests. Piercing Tiger roared, as the others remained shocked. Everybody had risked it all for those chests, and the emperors had all lost part of their undying bodies for them. Human. Chiokai Ka looked at Luo Feng. When you acquired the chests, you should have seen the words on it. It clearly states that only a person of my race can open it. Naturally, I opened them a long time ago, and left the chests there as part of my plan. There were those words. Luo Feng and Purple Clock frowned. Purple Clock, you saw the words too? Gold Kang asked. Purple Clock replied, yes, indeed. And when we found that room, it was already open. Also, this warrior seems to know our every move, he's obviously been watching us. He definitely knew of the room before, he probably took the treasure long ago. Gold Kang acknowledged this point. If you don't believe, you can hand me one chest and I can open it for you. Chiokai Ka smiled as he said. Yang, take out one chest. Gold Kang looked at Luo Feng. Take it out. Purple Clock said. Luo Feng frowned, but still retrieved one chest. There were complex engravings all around the chest. Since one couldn't forcefully open it, Luo Feng tossed it over. When Chiokai Ka received it, he rubbed his hand along the sides and with an easy click, opened the chest. The emperors all stared hard. The chest was completely empty. Empty chests. Gold Kang was enraged, roaring, bastard. He had burnt part of his undying body for this. Even though the material of the case was worth some money too, he didn't care for such petty wealth. What he wanted was the treasure from the fleeing race of Yang Ji back then. Ha ha. Chiokai Ka laughed. If you all weren't fleeing so fast, I wouldn't even have shown myself. The more you killed each other, the better it would have been. So why have you shown yourself now? Gold Kang asked. The others stared at Chiokai Ka. Chiokai Ka's expression suddenly grew demonic as he stared at them. You other race punks, if it weren't for the true treasure of the tower, I wouldn't even care about you. True treasure? Luo Feng was shocked. The others were stunned too. Haha, you don't think that a room that a pinnacle emperor's self-destruct can destroy will hold the real treasure? He mocked. Why would you think that I, having gotten the treasure before, would risk my life here to waste my time with you? Right? They all agreed. Would an inheritance treasure room be that weak? The treasure is separated. Chiokai Ka said coldly. The room you all saw was indeed one of them, but it's an ordinary one. The secret ones, however, hide the true treasure. Any one of our race can open that normal room. The true treasure in the secret room requires not just our race, but also the talismans to activate. Only with it will it confirm our identity, and one without it cannot open the room. Chiokai Ka said, back then when we fled, the knights were worried that the normal warriors would be controlled by others, hence he entrusted talismans to a few to hold, and those holding the talismans had to be emperor level. It's incredibly hard to control an emperor undying. Luo Feng and the other warriors nodded as they listened. They had to admit. Whatever he said was logical, it fit. If you all leave, I will never be able to get the true treasure, and without the talismans I won't be able to open the doors. However, without me, you all will never be able to open it too. Chiokai Ka looked at the group. My request is simple. I just want half of the treasure. This video will end here.